Yeah, I think it's just an appreciation of those guys who are finishing their career and recognizing that and appreciating them choosing to be part of this and kind of helping us try to get going here. Like I just think it's a recognition of their commitment to the program and yeah, the landscape's different, right? But I think when you have guys that come into your program and try to do things the right way and care about winning, care about the success, care about moving things forward, I think it's important to recognize those guys, and so we certainly appreciate them.
That new landscape, and this isn't dependent on the players by any stretch. They're getting their player empowerment era. That's good, but it has changed the landscape so much so that the Mountain West doesn't have a single player doing a senior night this week that has actually played 4 seasons for their school. They have one player who's been there for 4 seasons, but he redshirted and has only played 3. That's R.J. Keene. When you hear stuff like that, does it diminish what you think of the future of senior nights, or will it always kind of be an impactful night in college basketball?
I mean, I still think it's important, again, to recognize the guys like we talked about. I don't think that it has the same gravity that it did, when players spent their whole career at one place. And, as fans, you get to see them kind of grow up and develop, my hope is that's not completely gone, like I hope that's, not like totally lost for all of us, but yeah, it's not the same, but I do still think it's important to recognize people's contributions.
Luke is a unique player in a lot of ways, but he had been in the portal before. He talked about how you had recruited him before. How'd you screw it up?
Yeah, I screwed it up twice. I mean, he didn't mention that part. Out of high school, we recruited him out of high school, and it was COVID. We didn't get to see a lot of high school basketball. Didn't get to see him play his senior year of high school, and so ultimately, like, he didn't end up in our program. Coming out of high school, we were moving into a new conference. I wasn't a good enough. I didn't know enough about the league to understand how impactful he could be, and so he went to Point Loma, and he absolutely dominated us in a closed door scrimmage as a freshman, and I knew then I had screwed it up, and so then when he went in the portal, I talked to him and his dad and was like, "Hey, I screwed it up, I was wrong. He was way better than and we'd love to have him." And ultimately, he decided to go back to Point Loma, and I was like, "All right, well, we'll recruit you again. Like, I'm never going to make that same mistake again. Like, anytime you're available to recruit, we are going to recruit you, and we want you in our program." So, yeah, third time's the charm, basically.
I'm curious what a Luke Haupt domination in the scrimmage is, because we know a Luke Haupt good game can be a 0-point game sometimes. So, in that game, what was he doing with that domination?
Just like making plays on the ball, stealing it, every rebound. Like, just in the same way, like, he didn't, I don't think he scored a ton of points, but it was just like, and this guy's the most impactful player on the floor without having to, put it in the basket that way, making his teammates better, guarding 3-4 different positions, all the stuff that he does.
Yeah. Okay, and then one last senior night question is that you guys have 7 guys going through
6 players, 1 manager.
6
players, 1 manager going through senior night ceremonies. And of those 6, though, I think there's at least a little bit of wiggle room, or maybe hope that they could play again with 4 of them, if I believe. I mean, I believe Dayton may have a case with junior college history. Chris Howell with an injury. Bullion is a freshman going through a senior night ceremony. Obviously, there could be some eligibility issue there. And then who else? I think I'm forgetting one other player that might have something. I can't remember. Anyway, because of all that, can you update us on any potential future, or are they even trying, any of these guys going through senior night, trying for another year of eligibility?
I think a lot of that's to be determined. I mean, I just learned about Dayton's potential case from you just now, so I didn't even know about that. But yeah, I mean, I hope they all get as much opportunity to play college basketball as they can, and but we're just operating based on like where they are in their eligibility and their path, and the guys who are at the end of that we're recognizing, and but I don't have any information.
Does Dayton not have, because he started at junior college? I thought he only has 3 division NCAA seasons.
I think this is the year that would be. I think he played 2 junior college seasons. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it, but
Okay.
yeah, like my understanding is that he's out of eligibility, but obviously things can change, and I'm sure there's a court case going on right now that has a chance to change it or something like that. But,
call Poppy his lawyer.
yeah, I do think that this is his additional junior college season. This is this season.
Coach, Colorado State is on a 7-game win streak. Your strategy in 4 calls last time was to limit the 3. Gave up a couple of backdoor cuts. Do you see your strategy being the same? Rick Steiner has been playing very, very well. They've got Memba and Jorgensen back. Is your strategy, do you think, will be the same, without revealing it, what are you looking at for the game plan?
Well, I think they're a very different team. That was a long time ago when we played them. I think we're a different team as well. Like, I mean, obviously everybody evolves as we go, but no Jorgensen, no Mbimba in our first matchup. So I think that just that fact alone changes their team quite a bit. And then obviously the growth that they've had and the way that they're playing now, it's a very different game than the last time. And so, yeah, we're evaluating a lot of solutions to try to guard them because they're a terrific offensive basketball team and they pose a ton of issues for us in a lot of different ways.
Coach, on your side, do you have any depth concerns? James Miller seemed a little banged up. Milos Vicencic has a foot issue. Do you have any depth concerns for UNM?
No, I think we're okay.
If you had to classify Tom, what year is he? Is he actually a freshman or is he a senior? Like, if you had to put a label on it.
Well, I think he's both. Academically, he's a freshman. Eligibility-wise, he's a senior. So he's versatile that way.
How complicated is that situation? Because it seems like pretty unique for these European guys.
There's a lot of moving parts with that eligibility and kind of all the things that go into it. Fortunately, we're not sort of left on our own to navigate that. Amy Began and compliance here at UNM do a fantastic job, and so we rely pretty heavily on them to help us understand how it all works.
Now, I know you hate to look ahead, but if you win tomorrow night, you're going into the weekend with a chance to at least get a share of the regular season championship, which is pretty astounding considering the turnover that this program has gone through. I think I've asked you this probably 3 or 4 times already, but is there anything about the season that surprises you? Because I don't know if anyone would have really expected this team to get this far.
No, I don't know that I'm surprised. I think that we've played some good basketball. We've had some rough nights. Like it's college basketball. There's ups and downs. I think our guys have navigated that pretty well. I think we've done a pretty good job of trying not to kind of be on that roller coaster and live in the middle of we talk about the reality of where you are all the time, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that and tried to be consistent. And so we got another challenge. Tomorrow, and we're in a phase where we're really trying to focus on just going 1-0 tomorrow, and we'll figure everything else out from there.
For fans looking at this matchup from the outside that haven't watched CSU, they look at the standings, they're going to see where they are. You probably overlook them, but over the last month or so, they've been one of the best teams in the Mountain West. So, in your perspective, what's kind of made them so effective during this run that they've been on?
Yeah, I mean they're playing really well. I think they're terrific offensively. They're one of the best shooting teams in the country, both from 3 with real volume and efficient from 2 as well. I think effective field goal, they're like top 10 in the country or something, something crazy. So they stress your defense in so many ways with their spacing, with their execution, their skill level, their passing. It's very difficult to kind of take everything away from them with how they play, and so That's the biggest part. I think being healthy, having the front court back, they've been able to, you know, improve defensively some. What they do on the glass, like they're a really good basketball team, and I do think that if you just tune in to them at this stage and you see their record and look at where they are in the conference, you're not you're probably not going to appreciate how good they are because if you just look since February 1st, they're as good as anyone in this conference.
Rex Steiner is 3 straight games with at least 5 3-pointers, and I'm curious how much that has to do with either maybe it's just a hot streak that he's on. The bigs kind of open some things up, but it really seems like he started to blossom when they took him off the point, and a lot more Jevin Muniz and Jace Butler, I guess, kind of initiating the offense a little more than Rex Steiner was earlier in the season. Does any of that kind of point to why he's become such a really good offensive player for them?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a really talented player. He's dynamic shooting the basketball, and I think their coaching staff has done a phenomenal job of kind of helping their team evolve, putting guys in good situations, and dealing with lots of injuries in and out of the lineup and different things. And I think they've really done a nice job of just kind of keeping that group moving forward, and they're playing some of the best basketball in the league.
Yeah, I think what's really cool about this one as well is my dad will get to be at this one. He wasn't able to make it to my last one because he was still playing at the time. So I'll get to have my whole family, my brothers won't come to this one because they'll be in Vegas, but have my mom and dad walk me out for senior night, and then to be able to do it in front of these fans that have supported us so much, even just knowing us throughout this 1 year, I think it's going to be special, and it's going to be kind of bittersweet having it be the last home game, but knowing that we got a chance to kind of do everything we want to do still.
How distracting can the senior night be?
Only based on a couple experiences, but it throws off the rhythm a little bit, but ultimately I think it shouldn't be anything too bad. Again, I haven't experienced one here, so I'm not sure how that goes.
I am curious, kind of, in terms of senior nights, and you've been around a lot longer than a lot of these other players, obviously. Is senior night something that in college basketball, do you think, with the turnover, I mean, there is no player in the Mountain West that's been with the team for all 4 of their years, played all 4 years. There's one guy who had a redshirt year, but that's it. Is senior night something that is going to be sort of are we at the end of kind of senior nights meaning something, I guess?
Yeah, I think they mean a little less, for sure. I mean, I stayed at Point Loma for 5 years, so saying goodbye to all the people there and kind of that whole experience means something more than just when people transfer and kind of do it for a year. There's not as much emotional connection to the place just because you're not there as long. So, like you said, I don't think it's dying, but I think it's going to mean a little less to some of the guys.
Okay, and then CSU specific, Brandon Recksteiner's on just a tear. He's hit 5 3-pointers in 3 straight games. He's become, as they've sort of moved him off the ball a little bit, he's become their go-to scorer, and I'm curious if that then falls on you a little bit. I know it'll be multiple people, but what can you tell us that you already know about Colorado State and how different they are from when you played them the first time?
Yeah, well, they're more healthy now than the first time we played them, with getting some of their bigs back, so that poses another challenge. And yeah, they're playing really well. They're shooting it really well, like they always have all year. They're a great offensive team, and yeah, it falls on all of us defensively with how much we switch and how locked in everybody needs to be collectively to stop their whole team on offense.
Colorado State sets a ton of off-ball screens, and San Diego State had some good action in the first half with a lot of screens that I thought New Mexico struggled to fight over, but adjusted. What are you seeing on film? You mentioned Rick Steiner. He's played really well. Your strategy the first game was to prevent 3-pointers, gave up a few backdoor cuts. What are you seeing on film? How they're on a 7-game win streak? What are you seeing that they might be doing different? They've got, as you mentioned, a few guys back.
Yeah, I think those bigs make a big impact because Jorgensen, I hope I said that right, he's a good playmaker, not just a scorer. So having a 5 that can play make is kind of opens it up for 3 from them. So making sure we pressure them, keeping like you said, they set a lot of off-ball screens, so making sure we communicate on those is going to be key, and then ultimately get good contests, and we're going to live with playing good defense and getting rebounds.
Those of you that have been here for a long time that know the pit atmosphere, you got to play here 1 year, and Coach Olen described it as 15,440 friends here on Saturday. It was at full throat. What was it like for you to experience that atmosphere, even if it was only for 1 year?
Yeah, like I said after the game, it's been unbelievably special. Coming here, I knew what this place was and how iconic it was, and the support that they had here, and it's exceeded my expectations, and it's been unbelievable to play here this 1 year.
Go through the recruiting process. You go through 5 years of Point Loma. You could have pretty much gone anywhere, or maybe just called it quits, get into teaching, coaching, whatever you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But just, what was the process like to go from the end of that 5th year at Point Loma to getting recruited to New Mexico?
Yeah, it was interesting. I had gone to the portal before, after, I don't remember which year, but my coach left for Montana State. So I kind of tested out the waters to see what was going on. And I think that helped me for this last time getting into the cycle, is just understanding the process. And it was a pretty simple process for me because I have great people around me. Coach Downer helped me a lot. My dad helped me a lot because he has so many connections within the basketball world. And yeah, ultimately I think it was a pretty easy choice to pick New Mexico just based on the history, reputation of this place.
Yeah, and Olen has talked about how he knew who you were the entire time there.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the relationship like between you and him leading into coming to New Mexico?
Yeah, so we would always scrimmage, Point Loma and UCSD, so I played against him in some scrimmages, probably 3 or 4 times at my time at Point Loma, and then obviously him coaching in San Diego and me growing up in San Diego, he was at some practices, at some games, and then he also recruited me when I got into the portal the first time to get me to go to UCSD, and ended up deciding to go back to Point Loma, but we kind of created that initial relationship on a deeper level, and then in the portal, this last time he said he wasn't going to lose me this time because of anything he did. So he recruited me hard. He was really honest with where he saw me playing and my fit and role and how valuable he thought I could be to his team. And I loved all of it, so decided to take that jump and come follow him out here.
I think probably every Division II player feels like they could play at Division I, and but that, it's, in some ways it's maybe not as big of a jump as some people realize. But what's the biggest difference between, obviously the crowds are probably one thing, but what's the biggest change between D2 and D1?
Crowds have been unbelievably wild. One of the biggest differences was having summer workouts. In D2, you can't have any kind of contact or workouts with coaches, so that was different, just being away from family the whole summer. And then I would say the size and athleticism is real. You get some of that at the D2 level at certain schools, but I feel like across the board, there's a different level of size and athleticism.
So speaking of a different level, you were talking about the pick crowd. The 3 ball you hit late, that got it about as loud as it got all night. Mm-hmm. Was that a shot you were expecting to get in that possession?
I wouldn't say I was necessarily expecting it. Like, it wasn't what we drew up or anything. We didn't draw anything up. It was just kind of through our flow of offense. So always ready to shoot it. Found a window. Uriah made a great pass, but it wasn't like it was a specific play. It was just kind of our normal offensive flow.
I gotcha. And with that flow, from the moment the pass was coming to you, you were in pre-shot prep on that. And a little extra emotion showed in front of your teammates there at the same time. It must have been fun.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, the crowd going crazy, being able to celebrate it a little bit, even though I had to run back on defense right after. But yeah, it was a cool moment for sure.
Talking about your dad being able to be here, the experience your dad had as a coach, and like the influence on, obviously your whole family, but him with regard to your basketball, what age did you start and all that kind of fun stuff?
Yeah, I don't even know what age I started. I was super young. I was always in the gym with him, whether it was just he'd pick me up from school and we'd go watch practice, and I'd go sit next to him during games and watch. And he kind of stayed out of it for the most part in terms of coaching. Let other people handle the coaching, would give me some pointers of playing hard and rebounding and all that stuff, but because he knew he was going to coach me when I got to high school. So when I got to high school, he really kind of took it up a notch and he's a great coach. Loved playing for him. But yeah, that's kind of the process there.
In regards to competing for a regular season Mountain West championship, it is something that you guys have talked about a lot, and you obviously have a chance to do that this week. But you still have to play a game tomorrow first, so I'm just kind of curious how much you're talking about the Utah State game versus not wanting to overlook the Colorado State game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we've done a great job really not talking about the Utah State game at all, understanding how good Colorado State is. They're on, I think, a 7-game winning streak, didn't lose in February. We're aware that they're a very good team, and we can't get to any of the goals we want to get to in the regular season without taking care of business tomorrow night. So we're fully aware of how good they are and how important this first game is.
Last walk down the ramp. Thought about what that's going to be like?
I haven't really. I feel like myself and our team have been so focused on accomplishing this goal of the regular season that we haven't gotten to really look ahead at what's to come. I guess, like I said before, it's good news, bad news, right? Like some of those emotions are definitely going to be sad, but super thankful that I've gotten this experience and gotten to walk down that ramp however 15, 20 times this year. So I think it's going to be more, less sad and more thankful for sure.
This is not meant in any way to disparage Point Loma because it's one of the best D2 programs out there. But a walk down this ramp right before a game, the final one that you do when the team runs out, the comparison of that to walking out in a D2 game, I'm just curious what the comparison, if there really is one.
Yeah, I think it's so different. At Point Loma, we'll say for senior night, compare with senior night for both nights, I'm walking out on the floor the last time for the home game as the last time I'm going to play at home with guys I've played 4 years with and coaches I've spent 3 or 4 years with. So there's a different level of gratitude and kind of, wow, this is the end of an era here. Walking down this pit, it's unbelievable, and I'm just so excited to play every time I start walking down that pit because the energy that the crowd brings, I don't know how anybody could be like, man, I got to play another game today. Like, it's, all right, I'm ready to go. No matter how I feel, where my mind's at, like, it's game time when I walk down that pit ramp.
All right, and then, sorry to belabor this, but the Eric recruiting you the first go-around, how did you mess it up?
Well, it wasn't really him. I hurt my knee, so that was the year I just tore my ACL. So I didn't really think I was going to play that next year anyway. And then kind of with some of the schooling situation, I wouldn't be able to get my master's there, where I would have at Point Loma if I had stayed another year. So it wasn't anything with him or the UCSD program. It was more kind of circumstance.
And then you have your what's your education? What do you have done?
I have an undergrad in business admin with a minor in marketing, and then a master's in sports management from Point Loma.